Well, good morning, everybody. Very windy. The waves are very choppy. I'm hoping that you guys aren't getting a lot of feedback through my mic.
Resentment is the number one offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. From it stem all forms of spiritual disease. For we have been not only mentally and physically ill, we've been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically.
So on page 64 of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the big book it says that resentments are the number one offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. When you read that, it sounds like that's like one of the first things we need to deal with, man. If it destroys more alcoholics than anything else, we need to get on it, right? Deal with these resentments. I don't know about you, but I don't think I ever heard the word resentment until I came to AA. So I didn't even really know what resentment meant. I mean, I knew what it felt like, but I really didn't know. I was not familiar with the word, other than resent. I resent that, Basically, what it turns out to be is resentments are just anger that we never got over. We hung on to it. We made it stronger, longer lasting. Resentment is nothing but anger that's still there. I learned some things about anger, especially when I was in a treatment program. We had I hope you guys can't hear that. I don't know if you can or not. We had a good counselor. What I learned about anger is that, first of all, it's a secondary emotion. Let me explain. You don't just become angry over the action of another. Anger is a way of dealing with the emotions that you experience. And this is not the easiest thing to explain. One of the things that I heard that is pretty decent explanation. Say you're walking down the street. You're maybe walking uphill, and at the top of the hill, you notice there's a truck that's coming your way. And you realize there's nobody behind the wheel. This is a runaway truck, and it's coming right at you. Your initial reaction or emotion is fear. Oh my God, this truck is coming right at me, and there's nobody behind the wheel. So there's your initial reaction or emotion. The primary emotion is fear. So you brace yourself for this truck, and at the last second you jump out of the way, just barely avoiding getting hit by this truck. So now, what do you experience? Relief, right? Wow, that was a close call, man. Well, most normal people would leave it at that. They'd be like, thank you, God, for looking out for me, and go on about their day. But not us. We're like, wait a minute, whose truck was that? Who didn't put it in park or put the emergency brake on? Who was that? Turn it into anger. Now, by doing that, by turning it into anger, it justifies all kinds of behavior on my part. Well, I was angry when I said that. I was angry when I did that. And most people go, oh yeah, I know what that means. That means you're not responsible for your behavior. Well, I look back on my behavior while angry or resentful, and I'm not proud of that behavior. Not proud of that behavior at all. So the idea here is to change the way that I cope with the emotions. That's the root cause of a resentment. How do you cope with the primary emotion that you're feeling? So that was eye-opening for me to learn that anger is not a primary emotion. It's a secondary emotion, meaning that the initial or primary emotion that we feel brings on the need for anger. And anger helps us cope with or deal with that primary emotion, which in the case of the runaway truck is fear. And, remembering back on your fourth step or looking ahead to your fourth step coming up, you will find that fear is at the root of most of our problems. It's funny because when I came into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, I felt like I had no fear. I mean, I was pretty gutsy out there doing the things I was doing. I knew fear. I just didn't call it fear. I called it anger. Fear that I'm going to lose something I already have, like in the case of the runaway truck. I feared losing my life, so I either fear that I'm going to lose something I already have, or not obtain something that I think I deserve. That's what most of our fears stem from. Losing something we already have, or not getting what we think we deserve. Even after the truck is gone, I'm going to find the guy that owns that truck. Man, I'm going to run his tag and find out his name, get his address, and, burn his house down, whatever, right? That's letting anger turn into a resentment. And it's pretty common for us alcoholics. We can't seem to let it go. We just can't seem to let it go. I think one of the best ways to deal with that, first of all, is to come to the realization that anger is a secondary emotion. When we're aware of that, I win. When we're aware of that, that gives us an opportunity to do something about it. It gives us an opportunity to become aware of that primary emotion that we're feeling, which is usually fear. Oh. Yeah, I was afraid of that truck. But I was able to avoid being hit by this truck, and I felt relief. So, why can't I just leave it at that? Because those are uncomfortable emotions to feel. When I turn to anger, I become the one in charge. Now I'm in charge of my emotions. I'm in charge of what you did. Make sense? We don't have to be in charge of anything. Let it go. Let it go. Embrace those uncomfortable feelings. Okay, so I had a little fear. I got over it with relief. I didn't have to turn to anger and let it turn into a resentment, which is the number one offender. Embrace the primary emotion. I think that's the key to avoiding anger as well as resentment. So, wow, it's quite an ocean out there this morning. It's an angry sea. So yes, the ocean is angry this morning, but hopefully you guys aren't. Hey, have a fantastic day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. So you guys have a great day. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.